Hello, I hope you're all doing so well. I haven't been here in a hot minute, so let me just update you on everything that's been happening. And yeah, I have a few things I want to talk about. Most of them are Randonautica related, so we'll get straight into that. And then at the end of the video, I kind of want to talk to you guys about like a manifestation frequency vibe that I've been on. So yeah, let's just get right into it. So yeah, let's get into the Randonautica stuff. Um, so I did do a Randonautica video at the beginning of this year, kind of like end of January, beginning of February, and it ended up being like very kind of personal to me. I guess I just kind of felt like it was very TMI in the end, so what I've decided to do is still tell you guys what happened, but without going into like super detailed moments. So essentially what it was is it was the beginning of the year still, so I set my intention as like what should I focus on in 2026? And I had just bought this new notebook, which I was about to fill with like New Year's intentions, and it's just for like manifestation and journaling purposes. I usually have a manifestation notebook, which also then develops into like just like an idea generating book and like a journal and just like bits and pieces, you know. And so I had this new book. And I wanted to focus on some New Year's intentions, but like I kind of wanted to ask Randonautica before I committed it on paper, and it's like the first page of my journal, so you know, a first page of anything is always like super exciting. So I just wanted to make it special. And so I asked Randonautica, what should I focus on in 2026? And the way that the journey worked was so spooky in the way in like how accurate it was, because obviously the idea is that Randonautica is connected to a quantum computer in Australia, and then you know you connect with that field and that then kind of materializes in your reality. So obviously there's like a mind to matter connection. And during the course of my Randonautica journey, I was kind of like, things just kept prompting kind of thoughts of motherhood in me. And not in the sense that I want to have a baby or anything like that, because I am so not ready, but more in the sense of like thinking about motherhood from like a practical perspective, like asking myself what kind of mother would I want to be. And I don't know, like that was just the repeating pattern throughout that journey. And the location that Randonautica gave me was in somewhere in South Clapham, and I actually messed up the route completely. I accidentally got off at Clapham Common. And so by the time I got out of the tube station, I just thought rather than paying an extra public transport fare, it's just much easier to walk. So I just decided to walk from Clapham Common to Clapham South, where Randonautica had given me the location, and even that I kind of like messed up. I went the long way round, so it probably could have taken me just maybe 20 minutes, but it ended up taking like over half an hour to get there. Basically, when I arrived at the location, and I'm gonna share the footage, this event coincided with me arriving, and it was a Polish boy and his Polish dad having a conversation, and the dad said to the boy, you know, be careful, don't go that way, there's mud over there. And it's just kind of like, it just seemed so aligned with everything that I've been thinking about how hard it is raising a child, like to the point where even when they're like 9 or 10, you still have to tell them like don't go there, just because they don't have that spatial awareness yet. So yeah, I just feel like that was just so on point for everything that I had been thinking about throughout this journey. And yeah, it was just like the timing was so perfect. It was actually kind of spooky. But yeah, I'm gonna share the footage now. They are speaking in Polish, but I've just told you what they were saying, so hopefully that makes sense. RIP to headphone users because it's bad audio, so maybe take your headphones out for this part. The timing of that was just incredible. Incredible, because I had been thinking about motherhood pretty much throughout the entire journey. And for that to happen as I arrive at the point, to me, is crazy specific and accurate. And so, yeah, so that was pretty cool. Like, Randonautica did really well. And then, in terms of like my question, which was, what should I focus on in 2026? Well, I don't want to be a mother just yet, but it made me think more future forward. It made me think about who do I want to be in the future when I do have kids. So, yeah, basically, where I've put the Randonautica pin, that was my point exactly. So as soon as I arrived, I heard that conversation. How crazy is that? I was so happy that the audio of their conversation picked up when I was filming, because that was just so well timed. It was crazy to me. Crazy. But yeah. So that was my latest Randonautica adventure. And then another thing happened, which I thought was really interesting as well. This was also back in January/February. I was going to do this thing and I was like, I'm not sure if I want to do this or not. And then I looked up the address of the thing that I was going to do, and it turned out that I knew the address already. So I was like, where do I know this from? And as it turned out, I had already been there on a Randonautica journey. So that kind of knowing that I've been there before with Randonautica and the intention for that location was becoming a master manifester. So, like, an amazing intention. Knowing that there's a correlation between the two tipped the scales in favor of me going, and it really got me thinking about how long do those Randonautica locations remain active. And I just felt like it was just so well synced. Again, amazing timing, amazing everything. And yeah, to be honest, probably the best thing I could have done for myself at the time was going to that thing that I was going to do. And it's just so impressive to me that Randonautica was able to influence like a real life decision that I was going to make, because I wasn't 100% sure whether I wanted to go or not, but it was just the fact that I noticed that correlation between the old Randonautica location and this thing that I was going to do, that they were like kind of in the same field. That kind of tipped the scales in favor of me going. And so, that's kind of amazing that Randonautica was able to influence like a real life decision that I was about to make. And also, it was a decision that I'm really pleased that I made. So that was amazing. And yeah, and then another thing that I wanted to talk about, so the latest video on this channel is Glitch in the Matrix. That was my intention for the Randonautica video. Not much happened, but then since making that video, my algorithm has been kind of, feeding me some Glitch in the Matrix content. And it's interesting because I already know quite a lot about the topic. I've kind of like investigated this in depth. So I didn't think that I would see anything new, but then there was like this whole video about it, so I just watched it one time late at night, and I heard this new theory that I hadn't heard before, so I just thought, why not share it? So basically the theory is, and I'm not saying that I believe it, but I just found it interesting. I thought it was interesting. So the theory goes that back when they did the first Hadron Collider experiment, when they smashed the little particles together, that this event changed the weight of the electron globally. And by changing the weight of the electron, that opened up multiple timelines, which would explain all the weird and wonderful things that have been happening lately, because it certainly seems, at least to me, that the veil is thinning. Like, reality is it's just becoming more and more obvious that we live in a holographic universe. So I thought that was an interesting theory. I'm not saying that I believe in it, but I certainly think that time is non-linear. I think that events from the future can influence the past and vice versa. So I really think that when I have a psychic vision, that is actually one of the multiple timelines speaking back to me. And things like that. And I've definitely had like prophetic dreams, psychic visions, whatever. So I know that time is non-linear for sure. Whether this explains it, whether it was the weight of the electron that changed, I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting idea, so I wanted to share it. And then to end this video, I just wanted to say, lately I've been on like this amazing manifestation frequency, which I'm so happy that I discovered. So what I've been doing lately is I've been practicing manifestation. So what I do is I select a symbol. Could be anything. Could be like the infinity sign, or a purple butterfly, or a unicorn, or a pineapple, or just anything. The yin yang, the infinity symbol, whatever you choose. It could be anything. And you select that symbol, you imagine it in your mind, you write down the date when you visualized it, and then you wait. And then you write down the date when you manifested it. So then you can see how many days it takes you to manifest something, whether it's 3 days, 21 days, whatever the case may be. So what I noticed is, over the course of my manifestation practice, of this kind of like experiment, not only the time frame for me to manifest something has been getting shorter, every time I manifest a symbol, it's when I'm in a state of flow, when my frequency is so aligned with the universe, when I'm just kind of like thankful, grateful, zero resistance, completely just like flowing with everything that is happening around me, just like super relaxed. That is normally when the symbol appears. And it just kind of shows that being in that resistance frequency, like stress, anger, dissatisfaction, all of this is just so, it's just blocking everything. And the moment that you release and you let go, everything just starts to flow. Everything just comes to you like you're the ocean, and all the rivers are just flowing down to you. And it's amazing. It's incredible. And this frequency is so great, and you can enter it through gratitude, through kind of like dropping expectations, dropping resistance, just like releasing everything. The moment you release, everything will come, and it's been incredible. And yeah, I guess that's all the updates that I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!